Talk to me, Michelle, on the street lights on the corner. City vibes got a story. Feel the beat, don't ignore me.
Welcome into another episode live with Talk to Me, Michelle. You guys know I'm your host, Michelle, and I want y'all to get the name with one L, because I am a unique individual. That's why I have one L in my name, because you will never forget me, okay? All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Today is a very special episode. I have a returning guest, and I appreciate him taking time out of his busy schedule to join me. And we're going to talk about one of my favorite TV series. You guys have seen me talk and flirt with Rodney Barnes. I became a major fan during the Run Full podcast, and I'm going to get my props today because I want to congratulate him for the Signal Awards, which is well deserved, okay? But I want to think that my influence on Houston had a little something to do with it, okay? I'm going to put it to you that way. But today we're going to talk about the Boondocks. I could quote Boondock lines off the top of my head. I still say it around the house. Y'all know how I do. I may quote Stinkmeaner. I may quote Riley. Any characters from the Boondocks, I may drop it on y'all in the diamond. Okay? So let me bring on my favorite flirt, Mr. Rodney Barnes.
What's happening, Michelle with 1L? How are
That's
you?
right. I'm doing good, Rodney. How are you?
All right. I feel like every day I'm talking to you. Just feel like every time I turn on the phone, I see your face.
Isn't it wonderful, though?
It's according to which version of you shows up. You know, there are different versions of Michelle. There's 2 L's. I don't like talking to her. But the 1L Michelle, we can talk. We have quality conversation.
Rodney likes the spicy Michelle. He likes the spicy Southern Belle.
She's interesting. The one on the Bible Belt, the one that just handed out the prayer cloths in the parking lot. That's not the one. I don't want to talk to her. She's not very interested. Okay, I like the one that's on her way, that when she get to the gates, the pearly gates, they got to have a conversation. That's my version of Michelle.
He's trying to make you cut up, y'all.
He's like, wait a minute, we're going to have a meeting before we let her in here, and it's a good meeting. They got to get everybody, Peter and Gabriel, everybody got to get together because they got memory. They've seen things. So, but go on, 1L. I'm talking to 1L. Go on,
1L. He's edging on the spiciness, y'all. So don't let Mr. Barnes fool you, okay? That's what he wants. So I'm going to give him to him. All the spiciness is here in its glory, okay? And don't be afraid to say, hey, there's Michelle again on my phone. Just smile and go about your day. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, that's what I try. Smiling is hard at this stage, but I do my best.
You know what? Before you gonna make me have a whole new conversation with you outside the Boondocks, but we're gonna stick to the script, okay?
Good.
That's good. Good to see you again, and congratulations again on the Signal Award.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and I told my people
again. I credit you, the city of Houston, you, Hakeem Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, y'all, the 3 of y'all, I think are personally responsible. Y'all should have your name on it too. It shouldn't just be Run Full. It should be y'all, because the support that I was given, stellar, more than I expected, more than any family member I've ever had. This is beautiful. I almost cried. Because it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So okay. I just want to thank you again. I don't want to cry publicly because it's early in the morning. I'm a little dehydrated and I haven't eaten. But if everything was what it should be, I'd probably start crying right now.
I'm gonna drink my pineapple water before we get started, because see, I'm trying to digest all this.
Water with a little gin in it.
No gin, sir. I'll have a cocktail later. Okay, no, straight pineapple water.
I didn't know. When I'm talking to 1L, you never know what you're gonna get.
Well, you know what? That's usually later on in the evening. So I'm spicy now, but I get spicier as the night goes on. Okay.
I don't know if I'm breaking any FCC laws or anything. So let's talk about this cartoon that I did a long time.
Boondocks is a cultural favorite. I'm telling you, when the Boondocks came on, I never knew the impact it was going to have. And once I started watching the series regularly, I was like, dude, this is mad funny, perfect timing. And I wanted to, number one, ask you, how did you get involved with the series? and what drew you to the project initially?
Um, Show was in development, and I befriended Aaron Magruder, and we hit it off. And we started to write together, and developed the show, put the show on the air.
I've noticed that a lot of people that have projects, you seem to be the man they always come to, including the Boondocks. So, because you got in the midst of so many different projects that you're involved with, I'm like,
Mhm.
Rodney is the man.
I'm fortunate. I've been involved with a lot of great things, and look forward, hopefully, to being involved in a few more. And we'll see what the future holds. But very grateful, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Then we got that portion. But what were some of the key influences of the inspirations behind the tone of the Boondocks? Because it's a very direct animated series. It's no sugarcoating.
Yeah, I think that was the point. I mean, the DNA of it is in the comic strip. Um, there was an honesty that was there. I think that was the thing that, attracted so many folks to it. And I think when the TV show came and it was Adult Swim and it was late night, you could sort of take your gloves off and take a shot at even being more satirical and more brutal in your honesty. And I think that's the thing when I see clips and reels and people send things to me. I think that's the thing that's endured, that we've been able to. There's still a degree of relevancy in a lot of the things that we predicted or didn't know we were predicting, and just trying to be funny. Um, yeah, I mean, I think anytime that there's a certain chemistry in the beginning that I think just spoke to all of our various interests and points of view, that I think permeated the show and made the show a good time.
It did. I mean, because I realized later on that my son actually is a fan of the Boondock series too, and I had no idea he was watching it. I was like, "Oh, you watching one of my things? That's my DNA, boy. I'm telling you."
That's like going down and listening to Richard Pryor when you were a kid, you were a young person. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
No, he loves it. I'm a little bit more of a free parent.
yeah,
I don't like to hide things because eventually he'll experience it, and if he experiences it without my guidance, then that's where I fail. So, so
yes.
Boondocks was definitely a plus. But I wondered if you could share some of the challenges that you faced in balancing your show's humor with this social and political commentary.
Wasn't really a challenge. I mean, I think it was baked into the show from the beginning, and there was so much development and so much conversation about it. And I think there was such a show like that is kind of like lightning in a bottle, where it's perfect for the time. It was right before social media kind of hit, became a regular part of our lives. And there was freedom. There was a freedom that I don't know if you could duplicate. And if you're going to do a show like that, I think of shows like Chappelle's Show and Living Color and Richard Pryor's Show, shows that were sort of unapologetic about expressing themselves. Um, Shows like that, they're difficult because you have to walk a tight wire where you are speaking to social issues and political themes and a lot of different things, and you're doing it in a highly charged way. So there's a degree of folks just being offended regardless. But I think, like I said, the chemistry of everyone involved sort of helped create a great synergy for certainly the first couple seasons. But um, yeah, I mean, I attribute it to that more than anything else. It's like the perfect storm of cast, crew, writing, network. It's just a lot of things that came together at the right time in the right way.
And it did come along because I'm telling you, there's some episodes that have, even though I know it's humorous, it's appealing to the culture, but it has some real life lessons almost in every episode. It's not just
Hmm.
about the laughing and everything, but you guys always hit on life issues. But that brings me to my next question. What was your
Hmm.
favorite episode to write or produce, and why?
Um, there's too many to actually name one. I think the passion of Reverend Ruckus, when Ruckus went to white heaven, um, found out he wasn't black. Um, thing is that one. A lot of times it's moments. I think There are far too many to name. It's Reverend Uncle Ruckus is one of my favorite characters, and
Yes.
um, he was sort of a lot of times when you're in a writer's room, you have to go way to the edge and cross the edge sometimes in order to find the really funny stuff, and then come back in order to be able to put it on TV. Uncle Ruckus was one of those characters where you sort of lived on the edge. Like anything that he said was going to be one of those things that was either going to be embraced by people or piss people off, or highly charged because he was that guy. And Gary Anthony Williams, always a shout out to him. His brilliant vocal acting in that
Yes.
sort of brought the character to life. And so anytime, like I said, you think of doing that kind of show in today's world where you're saying those types of things. I don't know, you have a Twitter or X. I know some people go into Blue Sky, I think it's called, or whatever. Uh,
Hmm.
in real time, when you offend someone, they can tweet it, they can put it out there immediately. But back then, all you could do is write a letter, or just be mad and decide that you're not going to watch it. So, it was great adventure. At the time, I was working on, I think it was Everybody Hates Chris and Wife and Kids, that period that overlapped. And the great thing about that period was by day, I was sort of working within the boundaries of network television and things that you couldn't say. By night, I'm saying anything that you want to say, any joke that, I would come,
I was about to say you better pump
I
your
would come
brakes.
charged waiting to, is almost like letting off steam in a way. So I miss it. There's really very few forms to be able to have that type of humor in today's world. So
Yes, and I understand. I'm sorry, I was just giving the peace sign to my people in the comments. I appreciate y'all tuning in. But the edge that the Boondocks brought. If we had All in the Family back in the early sitcom days, every period of television has its edgy show.
mhm.
And now, right now, we do have an array of them, but I think the Boondocks stood out so boldly because characters like Uncle Ruckus, characters like Stink Meaner, characters of the neighbor Tom in an interracial marriage. This is reality, but sometimes in our reality, we can't joke or speak on these things. But I think the Boondocks brought all that to the forefront. So that's one thing I appreciated.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. I agree 100%.
Exactly. And I don't know why you're rubbing your hair while you are looking at me, but anyway, how
Well,
do
because
you
it's so
go?
much. Hey, it's like I feel like when you look at yourself, that's the funny thing. Usually, if you're on like a conference call, you don't see yourself, and I see myself, and I see how bad I need a haircut. It's just a little wild. I look unkept. My grandmother saw me right now. She'd be embarrassed. I'm a little embarrassed for myself, but I haven't had lunch yet, so I can't be
You
fully
say that
embarrassed.
every time you
But yeah,
come on here,
it is.
every
I'm
time.
disheveled. You deserve better. You in Houston. You deserve a lot better right now than my unkept hair. So I'm trying to figure out a way to flatten it, but it's at an age where it's unruly.
You know
So
what, Rodney and I were
it is
talking
a
behind the
point.
scenes. He's always talking about his age, and I'm not. If you
Well,
doing
for
all that you doing,
27, I got a decent hairline though. So I'm gonna give you. I ain't got that Stephen A. Smith hairline. I got a decent hairline for 27. I think by the time I get to 30 though, it's gonna start to fade. I just got that feeling. But I'm sorry. I digress. What are we talking about now?
no, we're good. I'm gonna let you land on that BS, but we
Okay.
good, okay?
Okay.
But we're gonna get back to the Boondocks.
Best.
Now, okay, now how did you go about developing such unique and memorable characters like Huey, Riley to represent different perspectives of the Black community?
It was before I came along. I mean, that was in the comic strip. The DNA of all those characters were in the comic strip, and we just sort of, added another dimension because it was going to be on TV, but it was already sort of in them. It's more of the ancillary characters that came along in the show, like Pimp Named Slickback and Uncle Ruckus and some of the others that were more prominently positioned for
Mhm.
television. That sort of, were an addendum to the foundation that was already laid.
Okay. I mean, because I know but you, even though the comic book was already out there, I already knew that once you got on this project, you probably sprinkled it with a little Barnes magic.
Oh yeah, that was extra. There was an extra degree of anger that was added to it, and some those things in perspective. I did what I did, but that's not to say that I still try to. Anytime you make anything, you make television, film, anything that you see, it's never just one person. It's always a group of people. And sometimes the person that sometimes the person that is least expected to do a thing, a production assistant or somebody can throw in a joke or something that is incredibly invaluable. Everybody matters on a team.
Hmm.
We can't, it's not like it's just LeBron. You need all the other people that are there too. So truly is a team effort when you make something. And yeah, the team, there's some people who score more than others and some people that rebound more, but everybody's got their part. It's a band. Um, so everybody contribute. I did my part. I did my part and proud of my part and miss playing my part because, like I said, it was great to be able to just express in that way without having to think. It's like a lot of times when I write comedy now, you work just as hard figuring out how to say something or how not to say something than you do actually saying the thing. And I don't know if that's good or not. It's a different world in the world that I came up in. And a show like the Boondocks, where the boundaries are a lot, you're dealing with satire and you're dealing with late night TV. Um, the boundaries aren't as narrow. They're a little bit wider in the things that you can say. So, I miss being in that space from time to time, but it was great for the time I was in it.
Yeah, exactly. But we do have an audience question right here, asking why was the episode "The Stars of Jimmy Rebel" banned from?
Johnny, yeah. I don't know. It's that's I know that whatever happened from Adult Swim to HBO Max, I don't know what those conversations were.
I'm sorry. I'm reading this comment from one of my smart ass audience members here. Corey, I'll deal with you on IG, dog. I got you. I
Mhm.
got you. Okay. But I'm gonna get back to the interview. He's always harassing me. But
Wow.
do you did you ever experience pushback or have to make compromises in the terms of your storylines, character portrayals due to network concerns? Because, like I said, Boondocks was very edgy. I thought it was perfect timing because we needed something like that about the culture and to be entertained by it.
Not really. I mean, certainly the first couple of seasons we sort of had free reign to a degree, and I think the stories that we were telling were stories that we had been developing for a while.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much seamless process.
Okay. Got you on that one. Now, the social impact and the legacy of the Boondocks, because people still talk about that series to this day. Even had a person in the comments asking about if there was going to be an additional season of Boondocks. And I think everybody is kind of like addicts because if the Boondocks was to make a return, everybody's all in and it's been, anticipated.
Yeah, but I think sometimes it's better to want the thing that you love rather than having a different version of the thing that you loved. It's a different period of time. World's different. This generation's ears don't necessarily hear in the same way that the other ears hear. Um, and I'm not judging that at all, saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that it's not the same time. And sometimes when you remember a thing fondly, it's best to leave it where it is. It's best to put it in perspective for what it is and try to create something new.
Yeah, and I feel you because I did catch your clip about the remakes and how you're not a fan, and we had previously discussed that on this show about the remakes, the
That's
reboots.
mostly horror films, though. I mean, that clip was mostly just about horror films and how a lot of times you're trying to take whatever um, the original film had and interject that into something new. And that film was the greatness of that film. A lot of times had to do with the time that the film was made. If you think about The Exorcist, and I believe it was 1972, you had a lot of social upheaval. You had Vietnam was still happening. There's a lot of stuff going on in the streets, and a lot of people felt like it might be the end of time. So you make a movie like that, it's going to hit people differently. Um, and you see a movie like that, it took 45 minutes for something to happen. And I put something in quotes as far as one of those horror movie things. You go to a horror movie now, within the first 17 seconds, somebody's jumping out. You got loud music. You got something to try to shock you and scare you and those types of things. So I'm just saying that time plays a role in how I think something, on the sensibilities that it's landing on.
Yeah, and I know you were referring to horror, which I completely agreed. But at the same time, we have reboots of other
But
productions.
sometimes
Or
you don't listen sometimes, Michelle, especially to Michelle with two L's. You don't always listen. So I always have to, I feel this need to correct you, But then there's this thing of you liking the correction. So I think sometimes you actually provoke me to have to step in and step up and be that guy. And I'm wrestling with a lot. I'm wrestling with needing a haircut, not having no breakfast. And, having to correct you sort of uproots my day, but that's not important. We're having a spirited conversation.
I
What's your
can't
next
stand
question?
you. I can't
What's your next
stand
question?
you.
You know.
Yes, I don't mind being corrected by Mr. Barnes. Y'all know this, okay?
Well, I'm just saying, but I'm saying sometimes I think you say things just to get the correction. I think you are
Possibly.
looking for the correction. And so you'll say something to provoke me, and I'm at an age, I'm an old 27, it's all city miles. It's all city miles in the heat with very low gas in the car. So, I don't always have the energy to do this. I don't always have the energy to do this.
My God, you gonna make me go ham while we're
I
live,
don't want
Rodney?
that.
I'm not
Not
doing
in
this with
Houston.
you.
Not in Houston. There's very conservative laws there. So if you lose yourself, I don't want to be responsible for what's happening. It's a different world we're in right now.
Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna continue on with this interview because see you pressing buttons, and I would love to respond the way I normally would, but this is host persona. So, like I
Thank,
said, let's get back to the interview right quick.
thank
About the legacy and the impact of the characters.
you.
How do you feel the Boondocks contributed to discussions around race, politics, and social issues?
I think anytime you have an unfiltered point of view that is like out there, it can provoke discussion, pro or con about a thing. A lot of episodes were sort of pitched in a way, the ones that certainly my thought process in pitching an episode was always about the division that it would have in the community. You think of R. Kelly, there's some people that love the music, there's some people that want him in jail. So that sort of stokes what's under the division and would start the conversation because you got two sides that have two distinctly different points of view and a point on both sides that's legitimate. The music was good. And, he broke a law too. So, you're going to have people that are passionate and that passion stokes, even when you do these videos, sometimes I do these videos where, when you say in the comments, you want a spirited conversation, you want a spirited discussion. So you have to say something that is compelling or provocative in order to stoke those flames.
You see how he likes to word these things so selectively. I mean, if Rodney Barnes ever got into romantic novels, they'd be I was gonna say, yeah, they're probably close to soft porn, knowing you, Rodney, because you got a slick
See what
way
I'm
of
saying?
doing stuff.
You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You see where you go. It's funny because you got the yellow on and
Yes.
you look so innocent. And, you know, so when you talk to me like that, and like I said, I haven't had much water, I haven't had much breakfast, I haven't had much sleep. There's so many things. I'm weak. I'm weak right now. And, like I said, lived a hard 27 years. So this is unnecessary. It's border. I understand you're in Houston right now. Houston's one of them cities where, one of the hottest cities in Texas. And I understand, the volatility in you to provoke me. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about the Boondocks because you
I'm
helped
not
me win a
provoking you,
Signal
sir. We're
Award.
having a conversation.
I appreciate it, but I'm just saying that, you helped me win a Signal Award, so I'm here out of obligation. And I'm trying to make it through this half hour with
Okay.
with zeal, and you trying to distract me.
I'm not
So
distracting you, sir. I'm doing my job. I'm asking you questions.
see how you talking to me? See how you talk? You see that little tinge of disrespect? Yes. I let that go. I let that
May-
go. Old Rodney.
maybe it's time for another correction. How about
Yeah,
that?
that's
Okay.
exactly. 25-year-old Rodney with a haircut, he wouldn't take this. But 27-year-old Rodney that's unkept, I'm holding it down. See, I let it go. Look at that. My grandmother rolling over in her grave right now saying, "Why, boy,
Don't bring your grandmama into this because,
look at you.
sir,
She
don't
look
bring your
at this on
grandmama into this.
TV. You on TV looking like that. I ain't raised you like that. You talking to
Okay.
that nice lady in yellow. You ought to respect her. So there you go.
He's good, Grandma. Anyhow, the show was for pushing boundaries. Was there a particular moment or storyline that you felt was the most impactful?
Um, No, I mean, it was an overall tone with certainly season one and season two because it was a thing that was new and I think a voice that a lot of people hadn't heard. So, I think it was just the overall existence of the thing, like what they're gonna say next, what they're gonna do next, how far will they go. I think it was more of
Mm-mm.
that than one moment. I think the show was bigger than a moment.
Okay. Bigger than a moment, which I will agree. And what are your thoughts on how the Boondocks has influenced pop culture and television since its first aired?
It's hard to say because TV has gone through so many evolutions. I think that again, shows like Chappelle's Show and the Boondocks and whatever, they sort of leave a taste of what can be done. So
Mhm.
I'm thinking, what's the next thing going to be? Because do we live in a world where people can actually absorb the humor in a way that doesn't um, that where they don't see it as offensive, where it's that they can get the joke and they're in on the joke. I don't know if I don't know the answer to that.
Well, honestly, we're in such an offensive society. You could just make a statement and everybody in the room gets offended.
Yeah, but
So,
then all of the you're the lightning rod now, and everything comes to you. Like they're not looking at the statement anymore; they're looking at who made the statement. So the
mhm.
statement gets lost sometimes, I think, in translation.
And for some reason, there's family questions being asked in the comments here. Like, is Uncle Ruckus the uncle of Huey and Riley?
No, no,
That's why I
I
didn't
take
think
a
so.
I take it. I make an executive decision, and I would say Uncle Ruckus isn't related to those two little gentlemen. He's trying to kill them oftentimes, so I don't think they're related.
And my girl Jules definitely says, yeah, there's too much sensitivity out here nowadays for these type of shows. And I like these kind of shows because it's always good to push the envelope, like I do with you occasionally. I like to
Well,
push
you
the
live on the
envelope.
edge. You live on the
Yes,
edge, and I
I
think
do.
the thing. Having been a former gang member in Houston, I think the way that you've turned your life around to now be this respectable pillar of the community is admirable and inspirational. And just the fact that you've decided yellow is going to be the color instead of that whole red blue thing in the scarf. Um, I think that it's a testament
Sir,
to what a person can be when they find the Lord.
you know what? The Lord's been in my life for a long time and he understands how I move. Okay.
Did
So,
well, see, the Lord understands a lot of things. Yeah, I'm glad He understands. I'm glad He put you in the right city. He put you in Houston. He put you
oh
in the right.
Lord, y'all just don't know. The next time if Mr. Barnes returns, it's gonna be such it might just be a raw conversation. We're not gonna even have no theme on the next go around because he's
Can you do
testing the
that on
waters.
Instagram? Does Instagram let you do that, or wherever we are? Does they let you? Is that allowed to be able to have that you
This is
know?
content I choose to push forward, sir.
Okay, hey, the way you said that, it's like you the president. You said that like you the boss. You do what you want, and I will acquiesce to whatever you say because I'm scared of
You're not scared, sir. But carry on. What are
you.
your thoughts on how the Boondocks influence? Well, we already covered that one, but the looking
Yeah, we
back,
did. Looking
yes,
back
looking back? Is there
over the years,
anything?
yes, it is some tears. Go ahead. Is there anything what?
Let me tell you something. Rodney is pushing the envelope, y'all. Y'all, if y'all seen previous interviews we've had together, he likes to do this to me and make me look like I'm the one that's edgy. You slick,
You are.
okay?
You hear it in your voice. You got a little growl in your voice, like at any moment. You just got this thing. There's an energy. I don't have it because I'm just worn out. I'm just tired. But you have an energy. You definitely have an energy.
Okay, next question. Anything you would do differently if you were to go back in time for the Boondocks when I was being aired on television?
I thought you were gonna say in life. You know, you always can say with the hindsight being 2020 is always things that you would look at differently. But that said, when you look at the impact that the show has had on pop culture, when I look at the positive things that it's done for my career and the things that I learned along the way in my own development, probably wouldn't change anything. I would have liked for things to go in a different direction in some areas, and more episodes, more time, more money, more. But that's not what happened. So no regrets.
No regrets. I got another audience question here. They are quite into the character questions. Why does Huey never smile?
Huey's not a smiler. I think that that's just part of his character. Huey is raging against the machine. He sees a lot of the BS behind the system, and I don't think we ever created any scenarios for him to smile.
That's true. I've never seen him smile. But I don't picture the type of character that with that type of mindset to be smiling too often anyway.
Yeah.
You know, he was about the people. Are there any particular issues or storylines that you would find especially relevant if the Boondocks were to return today?
All of the ones that we talked about. I mean, I think a lot of those issues are still present in today's world. I don't think anything's been necessarily solved. They've evolved into their own specificity to fit today's world, but I don't know if there's always something to say about culture and race. What that looks like in 21st century. Well, the show was in 21st century, but in the 2020s, certainly was different in '05, '06, '07, '08. The world changes
Yeah,
quickly now.
very much so. And I got to address this heathen in my comments. Corey, I will not be doing a Michelle after dark.
She should. You should have like Luke from Two Live Crew and all of them kind of. You'd be good at that. You'd be good at that.
I don't know if
Have
take it as a compliment or
No,
how do I
that's
walk
good. I'm
away with
just
it.
saying that you have that aggression that I think that you would be able to hang with them. You have them adult stars from the '90s. What are they now? Where are they now? That type of thing. I think you would be able to make compelling television, if that's what you call this, programming content. You would be good at that because you got
Well,
that
I
edge,
appreciate that.
especially when you're in the yellow. I noticed that colors have a tendency to tweak your personality. Certain color, the lighter the color, the more aggressive you are. Usually, it's the other way around.
Yeah, usually I would wear a little dark color, but I'm
Yeah,
adding a little more color into my life, and it does
you
make me a
need it.
little bit more spicy.
You need it because you're a lot more. It's a lot more intimidating when you are aggressive like this. I'm intimidated right now. That's why my hair is standing up.
You know what? You keep rubbing on your scalp. That's what that is. Do
Yeah.
you have any plans to create or work on projects similar to the Boondocks that focus on social commentary?
No. It comes out sometimes in some of the things that I do, but not really. I mean, I'm working on a bio miniseries about Jack Johnson, the first African American heavyweight champion of the world, and there's some social stuff in there, but I think it's more about people at this point than it is about the social stuff because the world's changing so quickly. The thing that we say right now, by the time it comes out a year from now, the world could be completely different.
Yeah, it's completely different, but I don't think it's too far fetched from what the Boondocks can handle. But I want to ask about characters. Do you have any particular favorite characters of the series?
Yeah, I say Uncle Ruckus. He's my
Uncle
favorite.
Ruckus, anybody else?
Um, oh my God. I mean, everybody loves Riley. Granddad had his moments. Um,
Hmm.
the Booty Warrior, you know. I'm sure you like the Booty Warrior.
No, I
Um,
did not. I
but
found it
there was
funny. I found it funny.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, he was very aggressive. He knew what he wanted. He knew what he
I
wanted. He
don't know.
went after what he wanted, and he was just more straightforward. That's why I said that. I wasn't saying that the subject matter itself. I'm just saying he was the kind of man that knew what he wanted, and he went after it. And he told you, no, unapologetically, he said exactly what it was that he wanted. So,
One moment,
you know,
sir. Are you saying, not outside of the context of the booty man, that I am that type of person, aggressive, and I go after what I want? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I don't know if you go after what you want, but I certainly feel the aggression. Like right now, I feel intimidated. I told you this early on. You probably forgot because you're just
No,
thinking
I did
about your
not.
aggression as our anger works. But yeah, you just you do you, and
No, I
I'm.
think it's the color that might be intimidating you because I usually, like I said, I usually wear dark colors, but I say, you know what, I'm going to do a little light color, nice
Well,
and
I
friendly.
wasn't expecting you to be in canary, eating a canary possibly, but I didn't expect to see you in canary.
That sounds like some haterade. I promise you.
No, no, no. Oh my God. See, this is why we can't have the Boondocks. This is why we can't have Good Night Is because as soon as I try to make an observation, I'm the bad guy. There you go.
Nobody said you were the bad guy. Rodney, you're not going to play the violin over here, okay? We've had a little too many conversations for you to try to feel like you were a victim in any way, shape, or form on this platform. We're not going to do that.
Fine. I won't speak my heart. I will say, what do you want me to say next? Just tell me what you want, what I'm supposed to say.
If I do that, we're going to have to calm down. So we're not going to go there right now. But I was just wanting to stick to the Boondocks, okay?
Yeah, go ahead. What's next?
No, nothing's next. I've asked you about the characters, and we don't have to worry about seeing the Boondocks come back. Y'all go watch the reruns.
Yes.
Go watch the reruns.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So that was all my Boondock questions. If I get into this a little bit further, it will be totally based off personal persona. So I'm going to leave that alone, sir, because I respect you.
Thank you. I don't feel it, but I'm going to go with it because I appreciate that.
When have I ever disrespectful?
It's not the disrespect. It's like you kind of like the Suge Knight of StreamYard, where you you kind of just do you, and I'm expected to show up and just perform.
You are setting yourself up. I'm giving you a warning right now. Everybody in the audience, he's setting himself up for me to have a comeback. And that's why he does this. He'll say certain things, and then when I feed off or give him feedback, then he wants to play like, oh, he's a victim. Don't fall for it, y'all. Don't fall for it.
All right. Fine. I just feel like I'm intimidated right now. I don't know what to say in order to make you feel.
I know your toes are curling right now, sir. So we good.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, congratulations again on the Signal Awards. And thank you for being part of such a great series such as the Boondocks, because I can still go back to many episodes and enjoy them like it's my first time watching them.
Thank you. I appreciate that. On behalf of all of us involved in that series, I thank you for your support and the kind words.
Yes, Rodney. Well, I'm not going to hold you long because I know you're always working, but I will hit you up. We're going to have you back on again if you would like to come back.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Barnes. I hope you have a very lovely, productive day.
You too. Thank you. Peace out, Houston.
Y'all, that is the fabulous Rodney Barnes, and I was holding it together. I got my legs crossed under this desk. Hold up. They need to be a little bit tighter. So, so Rodney and I had this fun little rapport we do back and forth with each other, but I love to harass him. At the same time, he's fine. Okay, but hey, you guys check out the latest episode of my audio podcast. I brought you an episode about flirting. Now I'm talking to Big Vino. This is the first interview I had with Vino about his street life from the comedy stage. And make sure you guys go check out Run Fool. I've been telling y'all about Run Fool for Lord knows how long. And I want to make sure y'all subscribe, because me and my girl, Jules, we discussed this behind the scenes. And then I discuss other things about Rodney, but I ain't going to say that right now. So I hope everybody has a lovely day. Thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you rate, share, subscribe. If this is your first time here, don't make it your last time. And Corey, I'm going to get your ass when I get on IG. Okay? You are forever cutting up and making things so damn obvious. All right? So everybody, again, thank you guys again for tuning in. I appreciate you. I will see you next go around. So if you subscribe to the channel, you will know when I will be going live next, y'all. So that's going to do it for me. Have a blessed day. Peace.
Talk to me, Michelle. On the street lights on the